So I just searched the word leadership on Amazon.com and over 125,000 books came up. So what in the world do you do if you're someone who's interested in professional development and you're trying to figure out what books to read? Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. My name is Dr. Patricia Thompson. I'm a corporate psychologist, executive coach, and author, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering some of my favorite books for professional development. The first book I recommend is this classic by Marshall Goldsmith called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. Now the reason that I love this book is that it gives you a great reality check in outlining the 20 bad habits that can get in the way of your career. Particularly if you're someone who's really hard driving and competitive, you might be surprised to find out that some of the behaviors that you thought might help you, such as feeling like you always have to add value or need to win at all costs, can actually hold you back. In addition, Goldsmith provides helpful tips for dealing with these different bad behaviors, and I like his no-nonsense advice. For example, for people who are too sarcastic, his advice is just stop doing it. I particularly recommend this book for anyone who wants to climb the corporate ladder, but finds that sometimes your behaviors are having unintended consequences. Adam Grant's Give and Take is my second book recommendation. Adam Grant is a really fascinating individual. He's the youngest tenured professor at Wharton, and he's got a really impressive background. And what I really like about this book is that it turns what a lot of people typically think about business entirely on its head. You know, we always hear sayings like it's a dog-eat-dog world or nice guys finish last. However, Grant, who's done a great deal of research on behaviors associated with success, has found the exact opposite. His research has actually shown that people who are the most giving also experience the most success. And there are a few caveats related to that you can read the book for, but it's a very fascinating read. I think this book is a great read for people who are heart-centered leaders who are giving and who want some validation for their approach. And I also think it's a good read for people who think that they have to claw their way to the top because they're about to get a rude awakening when they familiarize themselves with the research. Okay, so the next book that I'm recommending is one called The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox-Cabane. I think that's how you say it. And what's really fascinating to me about this book is that I always kind of thought of charisma as something that you either have or you don't have. But in this book, she breaks down the fact that that's entirely not true and that charisma is a learnable skill. The research related to charisma shows that charisma, which is actually a combination of presence, power, and warmth, is very trainable. And in the book, she teaches the reader how to use nonverbal behavior such as eye contact, posture, and voice inflection to enhance their charisma. So I think this book is great for anybody who could use a little more it factor. Search Inside Yourself by Chade-Meng is the next book that I'm recommending, and this is a really wonderful book for anybody who wants to increase their level of emotional intelligence by developing a mindfulness practice. The author works at Google, and he's an engineer who teaches mindfulness to a bunch of Google engineers. And so because of that, the book is written in a very practical, logical, and accessible style, despite his assertion that he would also like mindfulness to eventually lead to world peace. So I recommend this book for people who would like to learn more about mindfulness, but in a very grounded way. And I have to say that his argument for world peace actually makes a lot of sense too. So if you want to contribute to world peace, you might want to start your mindfulness practice as well. The next book that I'm recommending is called For Your Improvement by Eichinger and Lombardo. The book is a little on the pricey side. It's over $100, but if you're someone who's a leader who's involved in coaching and developing people, it's a really, really helpful resource. The book provides a list of competencies that effective leaders should have and very specific things that you can do to develop in those areas. And the competencies include things like strategic skills, courage, energy and drive, personal and interpersonal skills, and a few others. And then they break those down into very specific behaviors like delegating or learning how to listen to others or how to manage conflict. I think this book is particularly great for leaders because the people on your team are going to have a variety of areas that they need to grow in, and this book provides you a really cookbook approach to giving them feedback to help them to grow in those specific areas. So if you want to come up with a bunch of action steps for a development plan for your people, this is definitely a helpful resource for you. Okay, so the next book that I'm recommending is called The Alchemist by Paulo Coehlo. And for those of you familiar with the book, you know that it's not a business book at all, But I think it's a really helpful book for anybody who's on a personal journey, because personal journeys are filled with challenges, they're filled with setbacks, they're filled with a sense of purpose, and this book is a really inspirational read for anybody who's going through that. The book is a fable of a young shepherd who decides to follow his heart to achieve more fulfillment in his life. And while the path isn't an easy one, it's a valuable one that provides him with many life lessons and spiritual truths. So I recommend this book for anybody who's determined to live a meaningful life, anybody who's going through challenges, and anybody who can use a little bit of inspiration along the way. Finally, you didn't think I was going to leave my book off the list, did you? The book that I wrote is called The Consummate Leader, a holistic guide to inspiring growth in others and in yourself, and I actually wrote the book to fill what I saw as a gap in the leadership book literature. I find that a lot of leadership books can oversimplify leadership and make it seem like if you follow steps 1, 2, and 3, then ta-da, you're going to be a really effective leader. Well, having been an executive coach and corporate psychologist for over 10 years, I know that it simply doesn't work that way. If being that good of a leader was that easy, then everybody would be a great leader. So really developing your leadership skills takes work. It takes an ability to look at yourself. It takes an ability to dig deep and to stretch yourself and to really, really become a well-rounded person. So in the book, I take a holistic approach so that the leader can understand how choices they make in their personal lives influence their effectiveness at work. And things like physical exercise, nutrition, meditation, and how you manage your moods, for example, have been shown to influence your effectiveness in the workplace, and I outline how you can use those to your advantage. In the book, I also talk about the 7 characteristics of a consummate leader, and they include self-awareness, a sense of spirituality, being able to manage yourself, your emotions, your body appropriately, positivity, being authentic, being able to coach and develop others effectively, and also building effective relationships. And for each of those chapters, I give you a lot of research to explain why each of those characteristics are so important, and then I give you practical steps to develop in those areas, as well as personal stories and case studies from my experience as a consultant to help to bring the information to life. I know I might seem a little bit biased because I wrote it, but I really do think it's a valuable book that can help people. And if you're a little bit skeptical, go on my website and you can check out some of the other praise for the book and also look at the reviews on Amazon because they've been really good too. So that's it for today. Those are my top few leadership books for right now. And like I mentioned, there are a bunch of leadership books out there. And so I would love it if you would give me some more suggestions in the comments. What have been some of your favorite books for professional development? And I encourage you to go to my website at www.patricia-thompson.com. And on the website, you can learn more about me, you can learn more about my book, you can find out how you can work with me, and you can also visit my blog for more helpful tips to help you in your professional development. So that's it for today, and have a wonderful day.